Wow, this is one movie you don't have to set your brain on numb. Yo, what's up, Vegabomber land? This is Vegabomber letting you know about the movies that we've just seen, and as you might notice, the background is a little different. I'm actually standing here with Juice.
Hey, how you doing?
From Keith's Comics. What we're going to do is discuss Planet of the Apes. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, by the way. So, Juice, you just saw this movie last night. I just saw. What was your overall impression of this movie?
Overall, since the beginning of the shot, the first opening shot, it engrossed me since the beginning. It got me into the film. It was a little tricky in the beginning where you thought they were hunting, something else, and then it turns out to be a little twist in the beginning of it when you see him hunting. So that's when right from the beginning of the shot, the eyes, just did it for me.
Yeah, just grabbed you right into the movie right away. Right. Yeah. Oh no, I loved it. When I sat down, I knew this year was going to be pretty good because all the sequels have been pretty good this far, but I didn't know that this might even be a little better than X-Men. So when I sat down, same thing. Just looking at that cinematography, the wide angles of all that stuff. You're right. Immediately, just like Raiders of the Lost Ark, man, I was hooked from the word go.
Right. I
mean, so this is a movie you don't really have to think real hard, but you don't have to turn your brain off either. It's going to deliver on all the different levels. Did you think that
right.
too?
Yeah, I thought the character development, especially the apes, was great. The action setups was terrific. All that, especially the acting of all the different apes. The movements, each one was different. Facial features, each one had a thought behind their eyes, like almost human.
Yeah. In fact, that's one of the great moments about that when we get to the props that you'll find out is that when you're watching this film, you almost forget that they are just motion capture and CGI, and Andy Serkis, of course, playing the role of Caesar. But it was phenomenal.
Yeah, not just that. Serkis was the main draw because he has Caesar is the main character in the whole movie franchise, at least these new ones. So he was the main draw, but then you could see other actors, their movements of it and actually doing the acting. You can tell that thought behind every movement and every the way each one moved, told a story. Very, very great.
No, I think that's exactly right. So let's talk about the props in this movie, the things about this movie that was just dead on. They hit it right, and you were just excited when you saw it. You almost nerd giggled.
Nerd giggled. I nerd giggled when you see the society of the apes, and how they're trying to in Caesar's mind try to be different than humans, and that's one aspect. The layers of their family life and their structure of leadership and second in command and so forth and so on. That was great. That mind blowed me.
Yeah, right away.
Right.
Yeah, I would say that too. It's very seldom that you ever see an action film have really good quantifiable drama in it, and then the characters have an arc, and then you get drawn into the characters themselves, and you want to see what happens next. So when what happens to Caesar, to see how you get emotionally invested in what happens to him, and you want to see that whole situation get rectified. You get pulled into that, and you really like it. And you're right, that commentary between humans and apes, how they see each other and how they view each other, which is just an analogy for just getting along with anybody who's different. Right.
Yeah, that one, it was multi-layered, this movie. It had, not just the action film like most summer movies. After the movie, that night after you finish watching it, or even in the morning, you think about it. Think about the society that they're building on, and how is similar to humans. Maybe in the beginning of time, when there was no light and there was just fire and just the the basic necessities of life. That was a great aspect of the movie.
Yes, absolutely. And I thought it was very evenly handed, where it showed what was great about the humans and what was their faults, and then what was great about the apes and kind of what their faults were, and then you could see that they were pretty much the same thing, just turned on the other side of the coin. So
Right.
to that storyline, what you're talking about, the layers, that was really clever to see, when you probably thought in this movie you were just going to see apes on horses with guns.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Yeah, another prop on it is in the beginning of it, when they were just using sign language.
Mm-hmm.
That was great because you can see moments of thoughts and moments of in their mind without verbally saying something.
Mm-hmm.
Was able to convey thoughts
Mm-hmm.
behind a character or
Mm-hmm.
characters. So.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think one of the big props for me also for this film was, you thought maybe one guy would be the bad guy. Like you think from looking at the trailers that maybe Gary Oldman's going to be the real bad guy. But then you see Koba as the real bad guy there, and just the way he was played, he was really dastardly and even kind of funny in places
Yes.
that you didn't expect. And it just showed the cleverness of the writing. Like they were able to take him and make him menacing at one moment, and then the laughable monkey in another minute, and just the way it was played in the area where they played that makes you excited. When you see it, you'll understand what we're talking about.
Right, that moment when you see a weakness of not just the apes, but
Mhm.
also the humans in terms of trusting,
Mm-hmm.
and why you see somebody that if they act with a smile
Mhm.
or act silly,
Mhm.
you kind of your defenses are down,
Mhm.
and then that's all I'm going to say about that.
No, that's good.
No spoilers.
That's good. That's right. No spoilers.
yeah.
That's right.
So
That's right.
That aspect of it, another like I said, multi-layered, and
Mhm.
like other layers of thing, not just
Mhm.
brute force,
Yeah.
but actually thinking man's act.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. And it doesn't get too tied up in the thinking, because that actually leads us to maybe an eye roll or two. As you know, in Vegabomber land, we give props when there's the good things, and then the cons are more like eye rolls. And so the eye rolls could easily be anything in the movie that either takes you out of the movie, or the eye rolls are things that are just so cliches because you've seen it a million times. Like everybody, whenever there's something bad happen in a movie, the hero always has to go, "No!" Like we've seen it a million times, right? So, Juice, for you, what was an eye roll?
But the eye roll was the humans. They weren't as dimensional, multi-dimensional as the apes.
Mhm.
They were just one-dimensional.
Mhm.
The main human there had some thought out lines and thought out situations, but not as deep as the apes.
That's true. And I'm going to imagine, and I agree with that, I'm going to imagine that they wanted to keep the story solely based on the apes, because it would have been more interesting if they stayed with the apes. But you're right, they didn't need to play that much off of the humans and make it so much heavily weighted towards just the ape side.
Yes.
So I totally get you for that. One of my eye rolls was simply in the film, as you would see in a lot of action films, somebody gets damaged beyond repair in a lot of ways, so it seems, and then this person heals, and then he goes off and does a big old fight scene. And it was just like, come on. You just illustrated and showed us that this guy doesn't have much strength left, and now he's going to get into this big kick-butt fight here at the end. I saw that as an eye roll,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I saw that right while watching it. I was thinking,
Good.
wait a minute. He was at a certain point. He was, exhausted
Yeah.
and hurt, and,
Yeah.
and then it switches it on, and he's able to do something.
Yeah.
That's like what? Like I guess he's an action star, right? They can do that.
Yeah, it's kind of like in those movies where you see the good guy take like 50 punches to the face, right? But he just lands that one punch that takes the bad guy out eventually. And it's kind of like you're so sick of seeing that cliche. And then this one, they were doing so well. They were doing so good. Again, because it's hard to find eye rolls for this movie, right? And,
Very few.
Very few. So we have these. And I would say another one for me, I probably have just two. And so my second one would be, the eye roll would be, I wanted to see his son more. I wanted to see the mantle of Caesar's son, which he was called Blue Eyes in the movie, kind of step up in a place because of what happens to his dad. And I don't think that they really showed him stepping up as much. And I think they could have handled that a little better, because, if I'm
Yes.
the son, and you know what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
If you see the movie, you'll know.
Yes.
But,
Yeah. There's a situation in the movie
Mhm.
where he should step up
yeah.
and actually do something.
Yes.
And it looked like he's maybe the weaker ape.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how old he is.
Mhm.
Maybe he's still a teenager. Maybe that's why they decided not to do it in this movie, but that's one of the weak points, one of the eye rolls.
Yeah.
That that I agree with that.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, and I think that's it. I mean, for me, I mean, I just had those two things. Outside of that, everything else is just phenomenal because I didn't expect it to be that good.
Yeah, so you would think it would go, the same thing, earlier movie, and just tread water and not really do anything. And I think it moved that world onto the next level, at the end. So that sets up, of course, the sequel.
Yes, we know the sequel to the sequel is definitely coming. The threequel, right?
The threequel. Yeah.
Yeah, well then, so now what we do at this time in the show is we talk about whether, because here's what we do in Vegabomber Land. We let you know whether you should spend your hard-earned money of the movie or not, or if you just should skip it or red box it. And so in Vegabomber Land, we have only 2 ratings that we can give it. We don't play with that middle ground stuff. Either the movie was good enough for you to spend the money on, or it wasn't. And so if a movie's good, we say in Vegabomber Land that movie is blowing up. So like when you see somebody's new career and they're doing things and they're blowing up, that's the good side. But if a movie is horrible, there's another kind of blowing up, and that's the blowing up is in terms of getting detonated, like getting blown up, like a linebacker hitting a receiver or a building being detonated because it's just an eyesore. So Juice, in terms of that, what did you give this movie overall?
Overall, it was engrossing enough to even see it again. I probably want to see it again to get the more nuanced acting with the apes, and maybe I'll see something else in the humans. Maybe if I see it a second time, maybe I'll see something in there in terms of the acting and the storyline that they're hanging. But my opinion, it's blown.
It's blown up. That's right. That's right. Well, and if you ask me, I will say the same thing. I think that this movie is blowing up, ladies and gentlemen, because again, you don't have to set your brain on numb to accept that this is going to be a dumb action movie. It's not a dumb action movie. It's actually very intelligent, as we've talked about today. So don't just sit there. Get up and run to the theater and go see this movie. Don't go watch Transformers 4. Okay, that's a waste of time. Go watch. Did I say that out loud? I think. Did I say it?
Yeah, you did say it right now. Just right now.
Yeah. Well, don't do this like it was Spider-Man 2. Oh, I said that too. Just go rush out as if you're going to go see X-Men, Days of Future Past, or Captain America 2, because I think this movie is right there on par with. Would you put it up there with
Yes,
it?
with these sequels, all the sequels this whole summer, like you said earlier, sequels have been great in this summer.
We have been blessed.
Yes,
we have been blessed. Well, guys, that's what we have for this time. What I want to do is, again, thanks Keith's Comics, and they are our sponsors, as you see. And if you live here locally in Dallas, you need to come on in. If you don't ask for Keith, you should definitely ask for Juice, because he's here, and he can get you hooked up. So until then, this is your boy Vegabomber saying I'm out. Yup!